Hey guys, welcome to your digital anchor chart for 5 NF4, which is a multiplication of fraction standard. It says that we can apply and extend previous understanding of multiplication to multiply a fraction or whole number by a fraction. So basically, we're just taking everything that we already know about multiplication and we're going to apply it to multiplying fractions. We need to know how to do fractions by fractions and fractions by whole numbers. So we're going to talk about those separately because they are a little bit different. The first thing that I'm going to show you is how to do it with a model, and then I'll talk about how to do it with the numbers. Okay, so the first thing I want to do is use this square here to model 2/3. Okay, not anything new. I'm going to cut this into thirds, and I'm going to shade in two of them. All right, so when we multiply a fraction by another fraction, we are essentially only taking a portion of that fraction. What do you mean, Miss Southern? I'm so glad that you asked. I mean that if I had 2/3 and I multiplied it times 1, I would keep the 2/3. I would still get 2/3, right? But I'm not multiplying it times 1, and I'm not multiplying it by a number bigger than 1. I'm actually multiplying it by a number smaller than 1. So I'm going to take 4/5 of the 2/3, which means I'm going to take this 2/3 and I'm actually only going to use a portion of it as my answer. So I'm going to divide my graph horizontally into fifths. So I now have cut it horizontally into 5 rows. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Or fifths, I've cut it into fifths. And I'm going to shade in 4 of those fifths. 2, 3, 4. Now, the answer to this equation lies in the part that's shaded twice, because that represents me taking 4/5 of the 2/3. So the part that's shaded with the pink and the blue represents the part that's my answer. So if I count that, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 out of a total of 15 squares, because there's 3 across and 5 down. So I have 15 squares, and 8 out of 15 are shaded both colors. Now you might notice that in my equation, 2 times 4 equals 8 and 3 times 5 equals 15. And you would be correct, because when we're just using equations to multiply fractions, we simply multiply straight across. So if I had the problem, let me switch colors. For sevenths times 2/5, I could simply multiply straight across to solve this. 2 times 4 is 8, and 7 times 5 is 35. And that would be my answer, because when we multiply fractions, we simply do multiply straight across. Okay, I hope I spelled across right. Not a real great speller. Okay, so you do need to recognize the model. You do need to be able to look at a model like this and answer the question, what multiplication problem does it represent? So I would say it represents 2 out of 3 are shaded with the blue times 4 out of 5 that are shaded with the pink. So you need to be able to look at the model, recognize the problem. You need to be able to use a model to multiply, but also just know that when we're multiplying fractions, we simply go straight across. So this is one of the easier fraction standards. We're going to apply the same kind of thing down here with a whole number. So when we have 5 times 2/3, I simply have 2/3 5 times. So if I wanted to model that, I'm gonna draw a whole bunch of thirds and I'm gonna pretend like those are exactly the same size because in a perfect world, they are. So we're gonna shade in 2/3 once. That's 2/3. I'm gonna get another color. 1/3, 2/3, that's 2/3 twice. This is 2/3 3 times. 2/3 4 times. And finally, 2/3 5 times. So again, look at the different colors. Once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times. So looking at my model, I see that my answer is going to be 3 and 1/3. Okay, now how did I get to that with an equation? Well, when we multiply, we can still multiply straight across with whole numbers, but the 5 needs to go over 1. Okay, because 5 divided by 1 is 5. So any whole number that you want to multiply or divide with a fraction, you can simply place it over 1. Okay, so 5 times 2 is 10, over 3 times 1, which is 3. And then you can just transfer that into a mixed number by dividing 10 by 3 and getting 3 with 1/3 left over. So this is what the equation looks like. This is what the model would look like. You can simply, if we wanted to write it down, put the whole number over 1 and multiply straight across. That's it. All right, good luck with this. Bye.